What's up, guys? You're here with Goran, and thank you for joining me here for your free picks for Sunday, February 4th. Well, guys, after a busy Saturday, we have a equally busy Sunday ahead with some big matchups in Serie A. We have some big matchups in La Liga as well. A decent derby in the French League One between Lyon and Marseille. Leipzig and Union Berlin are facing off in Bundesliga. And of course, we have Arsenal hosting Liverpool in the EPL as the final game of the day in England. I think it's going to be a great one, and I think the whole day is going to be great. It's going to be busy. There's a lot of games to follow, a lot of games to watch. So tune in, guys. Get your free picks here, and of course, get another parlay of the day at the end of this video as well. For my best bets, of course, click the link in the description, and that will get you up to my page on the Pickdawgz website where you can sign up, get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. And that will have you covered all the way for the next 30 days. And we even have the Champions League back this month, so it's gonna be a busy month. It's gonna be a busy day as well. So stay tuned, guys, and let's get those winners. As usual, we are going to kick it off with the EPL. Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, 9 a.m. Eastern Time in the EPL. And we have two teams who definitely could use a win, especially Nottingham Forest, who knows that they have to go for the win, who knows that they have to score goals. And they have actually been doing it quite decently. The only game they haven't scored a goal recently was against Bristol City in the FA Cup. They even scored against Arsenal a few days ago. And you know what? They have been playing well. They have been defending better than they have at the beginning of the season. Uh, but now they're facing this Bournemouth team, the team that's capable of scoring a lot of goals. But then again, they have been very sloppy defensively as well. And with that in mind, guys, I decided to take both teams to score an over 2.5 at plus 100 in this one. Chelsea will be hosting Wolverhampton, and Chelsea is coming off of another loss, this time to Liverpool 4-1. And I gotta be honest, they were quite lucky to lose only 4-1. Even though that's a lot, it could have been a lot worse if Darwin Nunez was capable of hitting a goal. He had like 12 shots, 6 shots on target. He hit a post. He's the first player in the EPL history since they started doing these stats to hit a post or a crossbar in the same game 4 times. Yes, you heard that right. Darwin Nunez hit a crossbar, hit the woodwork as we would call it, 4 times in the same game. He had an assist, but he missed a ton of chances, and we'll see if he can redeem himself in this game against Wolverhampton, who are very solid. And even though they're coming off of a loss, 4-3 to Manchester United at home. It was probably a game where they deserved at least a draw because the second half they played was absolutely outstanding. They were dominating, they were creating chances. But if I'm being honest, the penalty that they got was not deserved because not in a million years, at least in my eyes, that was not a penalty, and I would have never given it to them. However, they are a very good team, very dangerous team, and Chelsea will not have an easy game here, to be honest. I don't think that they absolutely deserve to be the favorites they are. Minus 161 on Chelsea. Come on, please. I know that they have been playing better than they have for most of the season. I know that they have been scoring some goals, but this is a team that is struggling a lot in every aspect of the game. They're ineffective. They are not solid defensively, and overall, they're simply quite a bit of a mess right now. So I'm gonna take Wolverhampton over 3.5 shots on target at plus 107. Like I said, they're a dangerous team. They know they can play well. They are playing well. And Chelsea will not have an easy game here. So Wolverhampton over 3.5 shots on target at plus 107. For our next game, guys, we are gonna stay in DPL. Of course, we have United playing against West Ham, and West Ham, I don't know, they're struggling quite a bit right now. They are struggling with scoring goals. They're not scoring a lot. They have 4 draws and 1 loss in their last 5 games. Now, this is a fairly big game, and teams tend to step up when they have a matchup like this. And even though Manchester United is the home team here, even though they're coming off of a 4-3 win against Wolves, which, by the way, was lucky, uh, they are still very sloppy defensively, and they have conceded 18 goals at home in the 11 games so far this season. So Hopefully, West Ham can take advantage of that, and hopefully they can do something in this game. And I think they will. And for that reason, this is going to be another game where I'm going to take both teams to score an over 2.5 at -102. And like I said, big derby, Arsenal versus Liverpool, and Liverpool seems quite unstoppable right now. They are actually undefeated in their last, what, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 games in a row. And on top of that, they have scored 9 goals in their last 2 games. Like I said, they had a ton of chances against Chelsea. Darwin Nunez missed a ton of chances. But they are a great team. They defensively they look solid. They do tend to make mistakes, especially Van Dijk, who somehow sometimes gets lost, or there's not enough effort in his game, and that has cost them some goals in the past. And I think that Arsenal, in their current form, they are on a 2-game winning streak, will create a decent amount of chances and get a few shots out in this game as well. Uh, Potentially, I think that everybody's expecting kind of an open game with a lot of goals. I hope it is that way, but we have to learn from our past mistakes. And when we have a matchup like this, when everyone and their grandmother are on the over 2.5, sometimes these games tends to go under. So I'm not gonna take goals. I'm not gonna take sides. I'm simply gonna take over 8.5 shots on target between both teams combined, and that is at -118. Off to Spanish La Liga, guys, where we have 4 free picks for you in this video. Villarreal versus Cadiz. Keeping it simple, guys. Villarreal coming off of a massive win against Barcelona, where they scored 3 goals in the last 10 minutes of a game for a 5-3 win, and now they're playing against Cadiz, who hasn't beaten anyone in a while in 11 games. They're close to the bottom of the table, so -154 on the money line on Villarreal is a great price, and I will take it. Osasuna and Celta Vigo are facing off as well, and it seems like that neither of these two teams can keep a clean sheet right now. And on top of that, Osasuna has a couple of suspended players, and I believe they were quite unlucky not to score against Barcelona. They should have; they had a great chances. While Celta Vigo on the other side hasn't scored a goal in 2 of their last 3 games, but they're more than capable of doing it, and they have a great team, in my opinion. They have a great coach now as well. And with that in mind, I'm going to take both teams to score at -125. Now, this Betis and Getafe matchup, to be honest, was a head scratcher for me, and I simply could not decide what to take. Whether to take both teams to score, whether to take over 2.5, maybe take Betis on the money line, maybe take the draw, whatever. I think it's going to be a bit of a rough game. I think that both teams will be eager to get a positive result out of this game, and I think that's going to make them a bit rough and kind of on the edge. And since I couldn't decide my mind, I decided to go with the red card to be awarded in the game to either team, and that is at plus 210. And the last pick in La Liga, we have big Madrid derby between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. I think it's going to be a great game because Atletico Madrid is on a 5-game winning streak, Real Madrid on a 3-game winning streak, while winning 5 of their last 6. Both teams playing incredibly well. Both teams scoring a lot of goals right now. Both teams scoring goals consistently. And I think that the odds should be a little bit more even than we are getting them. I know that Real Madrid is the home team here. I know that when playing at home, they are still undefeated this season. They have conceded only 6 goals in 10 games while scoring 25. But Atletico Madrid is a very good offensive team right now. Griezmann was rested against Rayo Vallecano. He did not start. They still ended up winning 2-1. A few other players were rested as well and getting ready for this match, and I think it's going to be a great one. Of course, it's going to be a bit rough as well. That's how these derbies usually are, especially this one. But I think we're going to see some goals here on both ends, to be honest. And both teams to score an over 2.5 at -102. I'm going to go with that. I'm gonna take also like a little sprinkle on a penalty to be awarded in this game, and maybe even something on the cards. Depends if I find something useful. But both teams to score an over 2.5 seems highly likely to me, and I will gladly take it. In Bundesliga, we have only 2 games on the schedule on Sunday, and the first one is between Wolfsburg and Hoffenheim, where both teams definitely need a win. Wolfsburg needs a win, and Niko Kovac, as their head coach, needs a win because his job is in jeopardy here. while Hoffenheim on the other side hasn't won any of their last six games, and they need a win to stay in that top 10 to stay close to the Europa League or the Conference League. And the good news is that they have been scoring goals quite consistently. However, when I look at the matchups between these two teams in the past, both teams to score and over 2.5 has hit in 9 games in a row, while both teams to score has hit in the last 10 games between these two teams. So I'm gonna go with that once again here at minus 122. So Wolfsburg versus Hoffenheim, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Leipzig and Union Berlin is the last matchup of the day in Bundesliga, and Union Berlin has been showing some signs of life. They have been focusing a little bit more on that defense rather than the offense because, well, they're the type of a team where the defense has always come first and it always will come first, and good defense is what they need to stay in Bundesliga for next season. As far as Leipzig goes, they are on a bad run right now. They are on a three-game losing streak. They have been conceding a ton of goals, and this is something that has to end for them in this game. I believe that they see this game as winnable, and they will treat it as such, uh, which means that they will try to dominate. They will try to dominate the possession, create shots, be effective, and with that in mind, I think that they will get a lot of corners as well. So over 6.5 corners for Leipzig at plus 100. I think that's a very good line for a great price. And this might be one of the picks I will use as a premium pick for the day for Bundesliga. So Leipzig over 6.5 corner kicks at plus 100. In the Italian Serie A, we're going to kick it off with Napoli and Verona, which could potentially be a very interesting game. Napoli, I mean, they have been struggling a lot this season, and they're not even a shadow of a team they were last season. And they will still be without Osimhen for this game. Well, he's no longer on the list of players that are gone, but I'm not sure he will be in the starting lineup. While Verona on the other side is still in that relegation zone, is 16th place. They have had some positive results as of late, and they actually had a few decent results against Napoli in the past as well. Whether they played at home or on the road, they were able to get a few draws, and I think that they will put themselves defensively against Napoli here. With that in mind, I think that they will have to be a little bit more rougher. They will have to resort to some fouls to stop Napoli, who will be eager to get a win. And on top of that, Verona has only one win on their own so far this season, so there's not much we can expect from them about apart from those fouls that I'm sure they will have a lot of those in this game. So I'm gonna take Verona over 3.5 cards at plus 195. 3.5 cards for this big of an underdog on the road is not a big line, guys. At plus 195, this is the pick I'm willing to take, and I'm willing to put a whole unit on this one, to be honest, because I think that they will get at least 4 cards, two of those probably in the first half, and then possibly even more in the second half. Atalanta and Lazio is the first big game of the day in the Italian Serie A between two teams in a great form, especially Atalanta, who hasn't lost any of their last 7 home games. They haven't lost any of their last 6 games overall, while Milan on the other side is coming off of a draw against Napoli 0-0. Before that, they ended up losing to Inter in the Italian Super Cup, but overall, they are having a pretty solid season. They're not conceding a lot on the road. They're not scoring a lot on the road. And I think this is going to be a very, very tight game. I think that Atalanta will try to do something here, but I think that Lazio's defense is more than capable of stopping them than not. So I'm going to be a bit of a I don't know. I'm gonna go for a bit of a value here, so to speak. I'm gonna go with the draw at plus 235. To be honest, I could see this game going either way. I could see it ending in a draw. I could see it going over 2.5, under 2.5. This seems like something that's highly likely in my mind, and at plus 235, I will take the draw. And the last game of the day in Serie A is Big Derby d'Italia, the biggest derby in Italy between Inter Milan and Juventus. Two teams in outstanding form. Inter, 8 wins, one draw, one loss at home so far this season. Juventus, 8 wins, two draws, and one loss on the road. Both teams, like I said, in an amazing form. Both teams scoring a lot of goals this season. Inter 50 goals in 21 games. Juventus 36 goals in 22 games. They're scoring almost 2 goals on average when playing on the road. And I gotta be honest, I don't see either side keeping a clean sheet here. I know that this is a big game, and I know that both teams might approach this game a little bit more cautiously. But with the amount of offense these two teams have, if we see a nil-nil result, I will cry myself to sleep, to be honest. And for that reason, I'm gonna go with both teams to score at plus 105. And we are on to the French League One, guys. Before we move on to the parlay of the day, Monaco is hosting Le Havre in the first game of the day that we have to talk about, at least here in the French League One, and it is the first game of the day in the League One. Monaco got lucky against Marseille last week, 2-2 draw. They got a red card in that game, which means that with all the absent players so far that are still at the African Cup of Nations and the Asian Games, they will be without those two players as well, and their depth will be significantly reduced. And that is going to be a big problem because Le Havre is actually playing really well right now. Undefeated in their last four games, lost only one of their last six. And on top of that, they have been scoring a ton of goals in their last four games. They have scored 9 goals in their last four games. They have kept a clean sheet as well, and Monaco will not have a fun time here. I gotta be honest. I think it's gonna be an open game with a lot of offense, not a lot of defense on either side, and both teams to score at minus 114. I will take this any day of the week. Brest and Nice is another matchup in the French League One, and I think this is gonna be a very, very tight game. I think it's gonna be defensively uh, game. It's going to be a game between two defensively oriented teams, especially Nice, whose defense has been keeping them very close to the top of the table in second place. And they have been conceding only one goal on average when playing on the road. Now, they are not scoring a lot less than a goal on average. And on top of that, Brest at home, sure, they are scoring a lot, but they're not conceding a lot. I think this is, if you're looking for a game that's going to go under 2.5, this game is a definition of it. It's minus 167. I do not like it, to be honest. It's a very pricey pick, and it's a very risky pick, in my opinion, to take the under 2.5 in any game, not just this one, which is why I'm gonna stay away from it. But I'm gonna take the draw here at plus 220. I wouldn't be surprised to see a nil-nil or a 1-1 game. But however I looked at this one, I'm seeing the draw, and I'm gonna stick to it, guys. The last game of the day is between Lyon and Marseille. Like I said, that bit of a derby between uh, two of the most iconic teams in the French League One. Lyon has been showing some signs of life, even though they're coming off of a loss to Rennes 3-2. Their defense is pretty much garbage, but Marseille is not that much better either. They are conceding a lot of goals, but they are scoring goals quite consistently as well. So without complicating things too much, both teams to score at minus 143. That's gonna be my pick for this game in the French League One. And now we are up to the parlay of the day, everyone. This time it's a four-leg parlay because it's a pretty high one, and I do like it a lot, guys. This one I might even go a little bit higher than the unit. It's a four-legger that I like a lot, and it's plus 518. So I think it has a great chance of giving us some money back. Wolfsburg versus Hoffenheim, both teams to score. Manchester United versus West Ham, both teams to score. Benfica versus Gil Vicente in Portuguese Primeira Liga over 2.5 goals. And in the Swiss Super League, Luzern versus St. Gallen over 2.5 goals as well. Four-legger, based on the plus 518, guys. Hopefully we have another great day. We have a lot of free picks. We have this great parlay as well. So put some bets in, guys, and let's win some money together. I hope you have a great Sunday. Stay tuned for more free picks and enjoy.